and welcome. Today we're making goulash or Hungarian beef stew. It's a wonderful recipe. It's my take on this beautiful recipe that combines lots of meat with beautiful vegetables. It's really nice and hearty. It's quite traditional and I make it often. So let's start. So we need pork meat and as well as beef and lots of it. I'm using organic. So basically, you have it cubed, add some flour right on top. You can add salt and pepper, or you can just add salt, whatever your preference is. And in a big skillet or in a pan, we basically have to brown our meat on all sides. The process takes about 5 minutes to brown all the cubes together. Try to make it one layer. If you have lots of meat, just do one layer first and then add a second. So you can put some butter in the pan. You can add butter and olive oil. That's what I'm doing. I'm so excited for this recipe. It's just like I said, super hearty. It's on a budget. It's easy and you can freeze it afterwards. So we need one big onion. I'm using organic. As you guys know, I love my organic. So basically, saute your onion in a pan with just a little bit of butter or olive oil, whatever your preference is. And you can add some salt. You don't have to. So once the onion's done, put it in a bag or in a pan. Now we'll add a little bit more of olive oil and we'll use celery root. And you can chop it, you can slice it, whatever your preference is. And be generous with your vegetables. This recipe calls for a lot of vegetables. And I'm adding some kosher salt and just saute a couple minutes. Easy process. Okay, and back in the pan. Now it's time for parsley root. You know what? It makes a difference to have all your vegetables ready. It's so much easier and it's just relaxing. Entire process so relaxing. I just add a little bit of salt, but you don't have to. You can wait until the end. Okay, and back in the pan, and then a little bit more olive oil just to coat the bottom. And now it's time for carrots. I'm using beautiful organic carrot. It smells so good already. It does. And just a little bit of salt right on top. Saute, and once done, put it with the other vegetables. And our meat is definitely changing texture. There's lots of liquid. It looks beautiful. I'm so excited for this recipe. I love it. It takes me back. It brings back the memory. It's my father used to make it a lot, and this is actually his take on this recipe, which is basically my take now. Okay, carrots are done. Combine with the other vegetables. Beautiful. And just a little bit more olive oil just to coat the bottom. And I'm using portobello mushrooms. This is one of my favorite mushrooms. It's just so easy to get and I use a lot of it. It's nice and meaty. It's actually healthy. It adds so much texture to our beautiful goulash. And you know what? For those people who don't really eat meat, you can substitute meat for a mushroom, which is wonderful. You still get that beautiful meaty texture. Okay, so we're gonna saute our mushrooms in a pan just for a couple of minutes. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. And back with the other vegetables. Okay, and just a tiny bit of olive oil again to coat the bottom. And I'm just going to use a leek, a medium-sized leek, nice and organic. I'll make sure to clean it properly. This is a tricky vegetable, so you make sure to really clean it and chop it or slice it wherever you want. This is my favorite vegetable, and it's actually a must in this recipe. It just adds such a wonderful, wonderful flavor. And again, it's a healthy little addition to our beautiful stew. And you guys notice I love my vegetables. I always use a lot. How do you guys like my kitchen? I think I switched things up a little bit. Just let me know how you feel about my kitchen and my little lemon tree. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. It's so relaxing. Okay, so just drop it just like that. Just for a couple of minutes to soften it up a little bit. Doesn't need much. And tiny bit of salt. And again, you can skip that step if you feel like you don't really need that much salt, or you can add it later. That's totally fine. It's optional. Hey guys, smell so good. I'm so excited. I love this recipe. It just is awesome. Now, tomato paste, just a little bit of tomato paste. Don't go too crazy with it. You can always add more. And I feel like the taste and smell and all that, the texture of the paste, it's so much better once it's warmed up like that. So this is where I used to usually utilize it towards the end with my leeks. Just a little bit, not too long, just to warm it up, kind of blend it with my leeks and back in a pan. And now all the vegetables, please combine it together. Don't be afraid to be too rough. Just they will definitely be combined with meat later on and cook for hours. So you don't have to be too gentle with them. Our meat looks wonderful. It's just looks yummy already. We're gonna add boiling water just to cover and just maybe tiny bit more. So make sure all the meat is completely covered with boiling water. And we're gonna add our beautiful vegetables right into it. That's why we need big pans in the kitchen. We need a big, sturdy, good quality pan to hold all that goodness together. So basically, our meat and vegetables are combined. And now it's time for spices. We have mustard seed, coriander seed, allspice, dill seed, and whole chilies. Again, optional with chilies. I'm using a lot of spices, and I have that little silver little egg. This will hold all the bigger spices together, so you won't have to later on bite into it because it's not really pleasant to bite into, big seed. I'm using bay leaves and crushed red pepper. Again, organic and when possible, and also other additional spices. It's up to you. It's whatever your family likes, whatever you like. Juniper berries, that is definitely a must. And I'm using sun-dried tomatoes. This just adds so much flavor. And I have Polish mushrooms. It's just heavenly, heavenly smell. I always get them when in Poland, or if someone kind enough sends it to me. I always appreciate it. I use it a lot. So just a little bit of tiny handful of the Polish mushrooms. It's just traditional. This is what we do. Again, it's just something that could be skipped as a step, but if I have it, I use it. And in that instance, I have it. I'm gonna go ahead and just add it to my goulash. And now we just have to let it simmer. Again, optional, but honey. I think honey adds the very nice sweetness and interest to in goulash. Like I said, it's optional, but please try it. Be adventurous, something different. And actually, I've been using honey in this recipe for years, and and I only get compliments. I only get compliments. So as you see yourself, beautiful meat, beautiful veggies, lots of goodness, awesome spices, all combined, and it's actually a 3-hour recipe. Could definitely be a 3.5-hour recipe. So worth it. So do it on a weekend. Do it when you can't sleep at night, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 4 hours to kill. Boom. If you have the ingredients, go for it. And now lots of garlic. Garlic is a must. Please do not skip garlic. You gotta have a fresh garlic and lots of it. And I go crazy with garlic. Really, there's no measurements. I just go for it. So lots of garlic. Now we have to add some semi-dry wine. I would say that process will happen about 2 hours into our beautiful, beautiful goulash simmering. This is actually a must process, must step. Yep. Oh wow, this looks so good. I just want to eat it. I just want to eat it, but I cannot eat it. I have to let it simmer. So as you see yourself, it changes color. It looks rich and fabulous and so tasty. Now it's time for more fresh goodness. We are using thyme, fresh thyme, and it smells so good. Smells so good, and it's a must spice in our goulash. Just dump it in, and once the leaves separate from the stem, just take the stem out. It's not a pleasant thing to eat the stem. So as soon as the leaves drop, just take the stem out. Simmer, simmer away, simmer away. I love this recipe. It can feed entire family for days. And I'm serious. It's a budget friendly, awesome recipe. Time consuming, but it's so worth it. I would say an hour before we finished, just add some red bell pepper. I'm using organic red bell pepper, and it's chop it, slice it, however, whatever you want. This will add nice, hearty texture to our goulash. It won't be too soft. Plus, add some interest and color, and of course, taste. That's number one concern for me always. How it tastes and how it looks. So just combine that in, just fold it in, just let it simmer. And now it's time to add more salt or pepper. Whatever your preference is, you can skip salt, you can add more pepper. Depends what your family likes, whatever you like. And lots of fresh flat leaf parsley. Flat leaf parsley has always been my go-to. I think it's necessary to always have it in your fridge for a cook. I think it's just wonderful. It's fresh and it's healthy. It adds some texture, adds some color, just lots of freshness. And I think goulash needs some freshness towards the end. So parsley would do. Just chop it, chop it, chop it. And we're gonna add it in towards the end. And I'm just checking for my goulash. I'm checking for texture. It smells wonderfully. I love the way it looks. It's great. And actually, I like to serve my goulash with couscous. You can serve with rice. You can serve it with buckwheat, or with just a nice hearty sourdough bread, toasted or just not toasted. So you can dip your bread into goulash, and it's just so tasty. Thank you guys again. Please leave your comments, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm so always appreciative of everyone who gives me a comment or subscribes to my channel. This is what keeps me going, and this is my serving suggestion. So nice little layer of buckwheat or any type of grain you like, goulash on top, a little parsley, and we're good to go. Thank you, smacznego, and hope to see you guys soon. Have a great, great day.